My name is Firth Jones. I'm from Hay River, and this morning I'd like to tell you the story about my travel with cancer. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I was up 5 o'clock in the morning watching TV, watching the towers come down. So by the time I got to the doctor's office, I was already in a gloomy mood. And from the symptoms I had and from my experience of looking after my mom, she had similar cancers. My brothers had similar cancers. So I was quite sure that the outcome would be, that I have cancer. I had colorectal cancer, and 5 years later I discovered I had lung cancer. So the procedure started all over again with surgery the first time, surgery, chemo, radiation, and also with the lung cancer. It was surgery and chemo. I started my chemo coming to Yellowknife for a week at a time, and that went on for some time. I don't remember how many bouts of chemo I had before I had gone. I knew that radiation was in the plan. I was afraid of radiation. I didn't know too much about radiation, but I had a brother that was going through radiation at the same time. So I phoned him and I said, I'm afraid. I'm so afraid of the radiation. I'm okay with chemo because I've had a couple months of that and I'm doing okay, but radiation, how do you handle it? And he says, Anne, that verse in the Bible, it says, so God loved the world. I said, yes. And he says, I say that when I'm going in. And I'm out before I'm finished. So he says, it's very fast. So I use that all the time. Yes, I believe I was prepared for my appointments because I was in a good place. Like, I was talking about my children getting information for me. Being from a small community, it's, the health center is right there and practically everyone that's in that field. So it's easy to go and ask for information. My husband was a real supporter in that. He would say, are you prepared? Did you do this? Did you do that? Is there anything you need before we went to the city? There's a lot of help, and it's just all around you when you walk into the Cross Cancer, from just when you register saying, okay, my appointment's such and such a time, there's volunteers all over, and if you want to ask any questions, they're right there. I'm just amazed at how many volunteers they have, and I think my advice, if you're taking an escort, the escort should be well versed in your treatment, in the type of cancer you have, your appointments, and the length of time your appointment, and they've always got to be with you. I think that's very important. To me, it was just, so comforting to have someone with me all the time, just to know that they're there. Or when you're in, going for the radiation or the chemo, to know that there's someone out there waiting for you. With me going through my treatment, my husband was my escort and always with me, and he always emphasized, exercise, nutrition, and just, I guess being comfortable, relaxation. So every morning he'd get me up and we'd go walking for a good 20 minutes. Every morning. There's times when I begged off, but no, he insisted to keep up my strength. And nutrition, my husband does a lot of cooking. So he would ask me, what would you like? What would you yearning for? And whether it's chicken soup or whatever, and I always wanted to be made from scratch. And your cook has to be very patient with you because a lot of times he would cook and I didn't want it, But again, someone told me, and that just the fact that he made it or somebody brings you food, the fact that it's there and they've prepared, that alone is nourishing. Family can support their loved ones in many ways. And I think the greatest help was just being there. You know, for the patient to know that you're there, you're reachable, you know, whether it's by phone or just in the next room. It's comforting to know. It's like wearing a blanket. You know they're out there and you can reach out and get their assistance if and when you need to. And for the family not to be afraid to ask questions. Because, you know, with my experience and my experience through Cancer Connection, we want to talk. We want to talk about cancer. We want people to know what it's like, how we feel. We have Relay of Life next week in Hay River, and we have a team, the Gwich'in ladies, and it's called Gwindai. That means life. No, we want a life. We want to live to its fullest. So to me, that's so important. And I get up each day and I always think, you know, how could I make this the best day of my life? And not go to, you know, 3-4 years down the road. It's today. And that's one of the things I just realized when I'm saying this. I live more in the moment now than I used to. And I guess that's, you know, that says for self-care either, you know, take care of yourself now.